Hi everyone, this GCSE RE revision video is on the Buddhism Unit 4 topic of Buddhism and community cohesion. The learning outcomes for this video are to describe what social and community cohesion is, explain how and why some Buddhists work for social and community cohesion, and assess whether all Buddhists should work for social and community cohesion. We're studying this topic because it could come up in your exam. In 2010 it did come up in the exam with this question: should a Buddhist work for community cohesion? In order to answer that, we need to give two developed reasons to get full marks. In 2013, well, this question could come up again, or this 6-marker question could come up. Buddhists should work for social and community cohesion. Do you agree? Give reasons for your opinion. Give reasons where someone may disagree with you. The idea of this revision video is that it will prepare you for answering either of those questions and hopefully also similar questions. So what is social and community cohesion? Here is the exam board's definition: a common vision and shared sense of belonging for all groups in society. But what does that actually look like? Well, it actually looks like our school. Why? Because our school is one community made up of all groups in our local area. No group is allowed to be discriminated against. We've got people from all different religions, different ethnic backgrounds, and when we come into the school, we're all together, we're all one community. No one is allowed to be treated unfairly. Here is another example of social and community cohesion. So in this image we can see a Buddhist, a Hindu, a member of the Jewish community, a Muslim, and what are they doing? Well, they're praying together, and by praying together they are demonstrating a common vision of a more peaceful and tolerant society. So that is coming together and doing something which is positive. That's an important part of community cohesion. It's not just a group coming together or different groups coming together, it's coming together for a positive purpose. And this is another example of that. So a couple of summers ago we had terrible riots all across the country. Once they had finished, different communities came together. People from all different ethnic and religious backgrounds came together to clean up the mess that was left by the rioters. That happened in London, and that happened in Manchester, in Salford, and all different cities all over the country. So the people coming together for a positive purpose of cleaning up the mess, that's community cohesion, social and community cohesion. Obviously the riots themselves are an example of the opposite. So hopefully you can now describe what social and community cohesion is. I'm going to give that the Mr. Powers tick. If you're not sure, just replay the video and start again. The next learning outcome is to explain how and why some Buddhists work for social and community cohesion. So in order to do this, we need to link back to the Eightfold Path, which hopefully you will remember is the basis of the Buddhist way of life. I'm also going to talk about engaged Buddhism. Now, engaged Buddhism as a term is relatively recent, but it's a tradition which has been alive in Buddhism since its very beginnings. Engaged Buddhism brings together spiritual practice and social action for a more just and peaceful world. It combines the cultivation of inner peace with active compassion. But what does that actually look like? Well, here's an example of engaged Buddhism and also Buddhists working for social and community cohesion. So we have the Dalai Lama, the world's most famous Buddhist, meeting Pope John Paul II. Why was he meeting him? Well, he was meeting him for an interfaith dialogue, the idea being promoting better relations between Buddhists and Christians, better understanding, and in doing that, by promoting interfaith dialogue, the Dalai Lama is promoting and practicing right speech, which is part of the Eightfold Path as we know. What do we have here? Well, we have a monk from an organization called Buddhism for Social Action and Development. It's a non-governmental organization involved in education and healthcare projects aimed at helping the poorest of the poor in the country of Cambodia. So these are all very, very poor students, but this monk is dedicating his time and using his own education to be of benefit to these students. This is an example of compassion on the part of the monk, and also right livelihood. The link to social and community cohesion is that by providing these poor students with an education, it enables them to become part of the wider community. It stops them feeling excluded from their wider community. What do we have here? We have a monk from an organization called the Prison Dharma Network, which runs meditation for rehabilitation programs in prisons. Now, the idea here is this monk teaches these prisoners who've obviously done bad things in their lives how to train their minds so that when they are released they can become useful members of their community and engage in positive actions rather than destructive actions. So these people who have been excluded from their community, helping to reintegrate them by training their minds so that they have a more positive outlook. And this is an example of metta, loving kindness on the part of this monk, because he's treating these people in a non-judgmental way. They've done bad things, but he still believes in their ability, their capacity to improve themselves. And it's also an example of right intention, because he's got a good intention for all of these prisoners. So the final learning outcome is to assess whether all Buddhists should work for social and community cohesion. Well, on the one hand, community cohesion can alleviate the suffering of others, and therefore Buddhists should be involved in that, because they're all, the whole religion is based on trying to find an end to suffering. Right speech suggests that a person should not speak badly of others, but try to bring people together, which would help social and community cohesion. The Buddha also taught the importance of cultivating peace, not just within yourself, but within wider society. However, on the other hand, you could say that the goal of Buddhism is personal enlightenment, and so wider questions of community cohesion aren't so important. The Buddhist community itself could be seen as the Buddhist's first responsibility, so you look after your own community and don't worry about the wider community. I don't know any Buddhists who think that way, but potentially you could have that as an argument. And also community cohesion could be seen as the government's responsibility, not the responsibility of Buddhists. So hopefully you will now feel more able to answer, more confident about answering this question here, this 2013 potential question: should Buddhists work for social and community cohesion? But I'm now going to give you a model answer for this 2010 question. So should a Buddhist work for social and community cohesion? Yes, a Buddhist should work for community cohesion because it can reduce the suffering of others. This is important because practicing karuna, compassion, is a key element of the Buddhist path. Also, by working for community cohesion, a Buddhist will be practicing right action and right speech. It will, therefore, help them to gain good karma, which will enable them to progress along the path to Nibbana. That's 2 developed reasons, 4 out of 4. So you can, in your own mind, judge whether you are able to assess whether all Buddhists should work for social and community cohesion. I'm going to give that a tick, and I'm going to say that's the end of the video. Thanks for listening.